This day in Philly sports history is proud to be a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network, where passionate fans make powerful content. Check out theclashingconferences.com and join the squad today. What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Day in Philly Sports History for March 13th, 2026. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a feel-good Friday edition of the podcast. A Friday the 13th, our second Friday the 13th in a month. I don't know if that's like a double negative where it cancels out the first. Who knows? So be prepared and buckle up for today. Lots of Eagles news yesterday, though. No word yet on Dallas Goedert, but today is the deadline to get that situation done, whatever that may be. I still look for them to bring him back, depending on. I think it's just going to be a matter of what the money is. So hopefully that announcement comes today. Landon Dickerson restructured his contract. Interesting move here. The Eagles get some cap relief, but it takes a year off of his contract. So in theory, he could be taking a pay cut. If he meets the incentives, he'll get the full amount, sort of the way I was getting it. But lots of speculation that looking like he's got 2 years left and then he may retire after contemplating it this year. So a move that certainly helps the Eagles out from a cap perspective, but just kind of, again, one of those weird moves, just like Dallas Goedert, that unless there's a bigger ultimate plan, which if Landon has the shot now to get his money up front, okay, and then retires after the end of this year, okay. I just don't know what to, and I don't know if you guys see that or not, but my light is flashing lights. But Landon Dickerson did restructure the contract, so that's good. More clarification on the Jahad Campbell injury, as reported by Jeff McClain, who I really trust his reporting. So apparently he's expected to be back for camp and dealt with the shoulder injury most of last season. So if that was Jahad Campbell playing injured, okay, I will certainly take that, and that does explain almost, not necessarily the fall off, but when Nakobe Dean came back, there was sort of that shift. So if he was dealing with a shoulder injury, that makes perfect sense. Brandon Mann resigned. Underrated, under the radar, but a good move by the Eagles to bring back one of the lone bright spots from last year, the punter. But special teams are one of those things where you don't think about until they're bad. So good move for the Eagles there. Arnold Ebukati, I think is how you say his name, Ebukati. He signed yesterday, edge rusher, went to Penn State, went to Temple, recently played for the Falcons. Definitely a depth piece for Howie, one of those kind of, I hate to call it bargain bin, but those low risk, high reward types of signing. Jonathan Jones, veteran cornerback, signed, so that is again adding some depth. I still think that the Eagles corners probably are the best in the league. Nobody's been able to tell me who's got a better set of three corners. So overall, good signings for the Eagles. A little bit more clarification on that Jair Alexander situation we talked about yesterday. It just seemed weird that Howie wouldn't try to recoup his picks. Kind of came out that Howie did get some cap credit for that, and also the Eagles got recouped some of the money that Jair Alexander. That's reported by Adam Schefter, and that does explain why Howie kind of just wasn't making a bigger deal about it. But Howie has been patient, smart, not jumping in head first and throwing money around willy-nilly. That's one of the strengths of Howie Roseman. He's able to be patient and play the long game. And due to his patience, There was rumors. I don't know how credible they are, but apparently Josh Sweat asked for a requested a trade out of Arizona. Eagles and Packers seem to be in there, returning to the team he won the Super Bowl with, and I believe in Green Bay, Jonathan Gannon is out there. So his old head coach and defensive coordinator. I would love it. Come home, Josh. I know it'll make one little girl in this house very happy if Josh Sweat came home. She wanted to buy a Josh Sweat jersey, and then when he left, said, never mind. But if you come home, she'll get a jersey. But that's it. I think the big news this weekend is going to be the Dallas Goedert thing. We'll see what happens. Still no movement, but with Howie, you never know. Could swoop in, make a deal for Max Crosby. Could finally resolve the A.J. Brown thing. So lots of moving pieces going in, but good day for the Eagles yesterday, adding some depth pieces, re-signing some of their own guys, and then, of course, the Josh Sweat rumors. I think that would be the ideal fit. It's not a bad cap number. Veteran, won a Super Bowl, familiar with Vic Fangio's system, fan favorite, should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl, or could have been the MVP, I should say. So lots of things going on this weekend. The big news out of Phillies camp yesterday, Jimmy Rollins is going to be joined by his teammate Chase Utley in the Phillies Wall of Fame this summer. No shock really there. Jimmy, I think, deserves to be the first one in. And then, of course, Chase is next. Cole and Ryan, maybe Chooch, possibly Brad Lidge. Although I don't know if Lidge played here long enough to be considered. But all of those guys will go in. So that'll be a fun time. Probably a hot ticket to get a hold of. Lots of talk about Chase Utley possibly being in the Hall of Fame next year. Again, I don't disagree with the argument. But for my money, Jimmy Rollins is more deserving. Nothing against Chase, because I'm looking forward to Chase being inducted in the Phillies Wall of Fame. But for my money, Jimmy Rollins is a bigger, better, more deserving Hall of Famer than Chase. And then from the good to the bad. Sixers. Kelly Oubre sprained his LCL in his elbow, will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So the Sixers went into yesterday's game in Detroit, the East leading Detroit, without 4 of their starters. Typical, as you can imagine, 131-109. This team, man, they're cursed. There's no way about it. This team is cursed. But they have 2 home games this weekend against the Nets and the Blazers. Probably going to be more of the same. They played without a center yesterday. Maybe some of those guys, Bona and Drummond, will be able to play this weekend, but this is like process areas, like era Sixers right now, and I think we might have to bring back the Tankathon countdown, but we may not be able to do that because they were so good when everybody was healthy, and now here we are. But I certainly think this team, this franchise is cursed. I just don't know what the answer is. But 2 Sixers games this weekend. If you are bored or want to punish your kids, there you go. Make them watch the Sixers this weekend. But the Flyers, good win for them yesterday. 3-2 shootout win out in Minnesota. Emil Andre and Owen Tippett both scored. And don't look now, the Flyers only 5 points back of that final wildcard spot. We'll see how it goes. They are back home tomorrow at the X against the Blue Jackets. Not ready to do the Tankathon and put the nail in the coffin for the Flyers just yet. But again, every time I say that, they go on a losing streak. So I apologize in advance. All right. March Madness is here, and it's going to be a sad March Madness for the Philly teams. LaSalle, Temple, Drexel, and Villanova all lost in the first round of their conference tournaments. Nova likely will still make the NCAA tournament. It's just a matter of where they're going to be seated. But that losing to the last place Georgetown Hoyas in the Big East tournament, not good for their bracketology, but the lone hope we have is the St. Joe's Hawks, who are in action tonight against Davidson in the A-10. They have been hot recently. Likely can't get into the tournament without winning the A10. So let's go, Hawks. Let's go on a run here. Penn takes on Harvard. I should have said that. I apologize. Penn is still alive as well. Penn takes on Harvard tomorrow at 2 in the Ivy League Championship. So Penn and St. Joe's are our only hope on the men's side. On the women's side, it's even worse. Drexel is our only hope. The women have the 3rd seed in the CAA tournament. They take on the 6th seed Elon. I think they're the 6th seed or the 9th seed. But either way, Drexel's the higher seed, taking on Elon tonight. So let's go Drexel women, St. Joe's men, and Penn men, as we got to have something to root for in the tournament other than my bracket, which will likely get busted first day. Union are in Atlanta this weekend looking for their first MLS win. Again, we need Dallas Goddard to sign and then Howie to make a splash. It's the only thing that's going to help our weekend. But we are only a couple weeks away from Phillies opening day, so we got that going for us, which is nice. Yesterday's trivia question, we talked about Chuck Klein, and I said, who are the other Phillies to hit 4 home runs in a game? That would be Ed Delahunty in 1896. 2 of them inside the park. Chuck Klein, obviously, in 1936. Schmitty in 76. And Kyle Schwarber last year. Kyle actually had a chance for 5. But thank you to everyone who reached out with the trivia question. Some quick housekeeping notes. Be sure to follow me on all social media at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Don't forget about the Brotherly Birds breakdown. Still not too late to check out our free agency episode for that.
It's time for Fridays with AI, where we ask AI to rewrite Philly sports history. Every Friday, only on This Day in Philly Sports History.
That's right. It is Friday. That means it's time for Fridays with AI, brought to you by Philly Goat. Philly Goat, the area's best, in my opinion. Sports apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever you need, they got. Go check them out. Always coming out with new shirts and always interesting and creative designs. They've already come out with the Philadelphia Blue Jay shirt from our podcast a couple weeks ago. Be sure to use that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, so when AI came by this week, the obvious question, I've been talking about it for a couple weeks now, are the Sixers cursed? And the follow-up to that, what's the cause and how do we get out of it? And I mean, if you look at it, you had the Moses Malone trade in the first pick that turned out to be Brad Daugherty trade in 86. The entire post-Barkley 90s era where they were just terrible and missed on every lottery pick. The luck and the injuries that, I mean, as magical as it was and overmatched as they were, after winning game 1 of the finals, we thought we were going to at least make it more competitive. The NBA purgatory that was, are we a 7 and 8 seed? Are we like the top 2 teams in the lottery? Then, of course, Andrew Bynum, the Kawhi bounce, Ben, the Colangelos, Markelle Fultz, Joe's injuries history, James Harden, Jimmy Butler, Al Horford, who's still a spy to me, Paul George, all of that stuff in a relatively short amount of time. And AI said the likelihood of all of that happening to one team in such a short amount of time, many teams don't face that their entire existence, is a 0.0013% chance of that happening. So certainly AI thinks the Sixers are cursed. So what caused it? And AI looked at a couple different things. Moses and the number 1 pick obviously is the easy answer, trading them away on draft night in 1986. Of course, not getting Charles Barkley some help during his tenure here. And an interesting one, sacrificing Sam Hinkie when they caved to the NBA pressure and got rid of Sam Hinkie. They said the process actually may have worked had Sam Hinkie been able to see it out. My money is on Moses. I think getting rid of him, thinking he was washed up, and then trading the number 1 pick for Jeff Rulin, Roy Hinson, the wrong Clifford Robinson, All of that stuff, I think, is the cause of this curse. NBA gods don't like that. But certainly Sixers didn't help themselves out with the whole Sam Hinkie thing. So AI seems to think Moses Malone, trading him and the number one pick in the same draft is really what led to this curse. Okay, so I think that states the obvious. We're cursed. How do we break it? AI came up with a couple interesting ideas. The Moses Malone Peace Treaty. Take some 83 memorabilia from winning that championship, the 4-5-4 year. Trade it for a bucket of bad vibes similar to the Globetrotters, and then quickly take that bucket and throw it in the Schuylkill, and that hopefully will rid us of the curse of Moses Malone. But just in case it was Sam Hinkie, AI came up, and this is my favorite one, the Sam Hinkie Pilgrimage. Daryl Morey and the entire front office needs to be the sacrificial lambs here. They need to take a walk from the Camden practice facility over the Ben Franklin Bridge, down 95 to the Xfinity Mobile Arena, the entire time reciting all of the names of the players who were on the Sixers during the process era, and then end it with, "In Sam Hinkie we pray, amen." And then as a bonus, AI suggested that for all the members of the Sixers fan base who had season tickets during the process era, they should just buy them cheesesteaks and a act of goodwill to help break that curse. And then another idea was having a curse breaking day where the Sixers wear mixed match uniforms. They wear those ugly star jerseys from the post-Barkley era, combine them with the black shorts from the AI era, and then do the shoes and the socks and headbands and things from that purgatory era before the process really started. And then just play a game, have Hinkie come out and ring the bell pre-game, and by ringing the bell, that should rid us of this curse. Or the least likely but probably better opportunity would be find a DeLorean, go back to the future, don't trade Moses, don't trade the number one pick, and just replay from 1986 on and see what happens. But that's what AI seems to think. But certainly they're not unlucky. They're an outlier. There's somewhere along the line, going back to the Future reference, a disturbance in the space-time continuum. Something needs to happen. It took for the entire city of Philadelphia putting William Penn back on top of the Comcast Center. We need to do something. But that is Fridays with AI, brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. And then hit me up, speaking of Back to the Future, hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line. How would you break the curse that the Sixers are in? Are they cursed? Are they just dysfunctional? Is it a combination of everything? I think a little from column A, a little from column B. But what say you? 267-495-8531. Let me know your thoughts.
Hey guys, guess what time it is? It's cookie season. I'm Ella here, your favorite Girl Scout, and we have your oldies but goodies. Lemonades, Dimmits, peanut butter sandwiches, and more. This year we have a new cookie flavor called the Explore Mug. My goal is 200 boxes, so please make that happen. You're going to buy cookies anyway, so why not buy them from me?
All right, March 13th. First, we're going to go back to 1987. And another day, another bad Phillies signing. This one was doomed from the start, happening on Friday the 13th. If I was the Phillies or this player, I would have said, can we do it tomorrow? Because this just was bad luck from the start. But this time it was Lance Parrish signing from the Tigers. He was a former All-Star, should have been a compliment to Mike Schmidt, added a little bit of pop to that lineup. He was solid defensively, was here for 2 years. One of his lowest season outputs were home runs. He had 257, 17 home runs, grounded into 23 double plays, and led the league with 142 stolen bases allowed. So can't even rely on the defense there in his first year. '88 offensively was worse, 215 with a 370 slugging percentage. He played better defense, somehow made the All-Star team. No clue how he made the All-Star team in 1980 or 1988. Was traded that offseason, but on this day, Lance Parrish, who was supposed to be the savior, the Phillies catcher of the future, or at least the near future, add some pop to the bat with Mike Schmidt. He did none of that. Absolutely none of that. Should have known better than to sign a contract on Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, though, or I shouldn't say Friday the 13th. I don't even know if Lance Parrish signed on Friday the 13th now that I think about it. But just the number 13, just bad luck. But for the Flyers, March 13th has been a good day. Lots of milestones. First, in 1975, Bobby Clarke had 2 assists in the Flyers' victory. 6-0 victory over the Penguins. It was the 68th assist of his season. Also, the 300th of his career. Both were Flyers records. And today, Bobby Clarke does hold the single season and career record for assists for the Flyers. Bernie also got his 10th shutout of the season, his 36th career shutout. So good day in 1975 for the Flyers. Then in 1999, they lose 4-0 to the Penguins. But Ron Hextall played in his 487th game as Flyers goalie, breaking Bernie Parent's record. Ron would have a couple more before ending his Flyers career as a player. And then 2 years later, the Flyers beat the Blues 5-2. Mark Recchi with a goal and 2 assists as he becomes the 60th player to score 1,000 points in NHL history. And then in 2009, this was kind of a cool tidbit. The Sixers beat the Bulls 104-101. Thad Young had 31 points. Andre Iguodala had 25. Samuel Dalembert with 4 blocks and 19 rebounds. As the Sixers played one last game at the Spectrum. It was scheduled to close that fall, but they sold the place out. They moved across the street from the Coors State Center at the time to play one last game at the Spectrum before it went. Lots of fanfare, lots of pomp and circumstance. Members from the 67 championship team were there. The 83 championship team. Ed Snyder was in the house. They played it like it was back in the 60s and 70s. No video replay board. They wore the old school throwback uniforms before it was cool to wear throwback uniforms. But overall, a cool moment as the Sixers beat the Bulls 104-101. One last game at the Spectrum for the Sixers before the building closed later that fall. All right, that leads us into today's trivia question. Tomorrow is the anniversary of Dana Barros' 50-point game. Yes, Dana Barros had 50 points for the Sixers. What other players have joined him in scoring 50-point games? Now, some of these guys have done it more than once, but what players in Sixers history, I always like to give you a little bit of a homework assignment over the weekend, but what Sixers players have scored 50 points in a game, joining Dana Barros, who scored 50 points on March 14th, celebrating that tomorrow. You can hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line or the Discord channel. The link is in the description. And then finally, our Women's History Month Spotlight. Every journey begins somewhere. For these women, it started in Philly on the playgrounds, rec centers, high school gyms, college gyms, and it all led to the WNBA. And today we take a look at Maddy Segrist, a New York native, but a Villanova graduate. She is the all-time leading scorer in Villanova history. Also, the all-time leading scorer in Big East history, men's and women's. So, pretty solid career for Maddy. She was an All-American, 2-time Big East Player of the Year, 4-time All-Big East, led the nation in scoring, led the Wildcats to 2 NCAA tournaments. All of that led her to being the 3rd pick in the 2023 WNBA draft by the Dallas Wings. She's averaged last season 12 points per game and is gearing up for a solid season. Really at the beginning of her career, but she was so solid at Villanova, is well on her way to being one of the better players in the WNBA. So from Philly, in this case, the main line to the WNBA, we celebrate the journey. Maddy Segrist's journey is not even close to being complete, but got her formative years and got started here in Philly at Villanova. So Maddy, shout out to you for being today's Women's History Month Spotlight. All right, on this day in 2009, Sixers beat the Bulls one last time at the Spectrum before the building closed. Lots of Flyers milestones on this day. Mark Recchi went over 1,000 points for his career. Ron Hextall set the Flyers goalie record for games played, and Bobby Clark set the Flyers single-season record for assists with his 68th on this day in 1975. Lance Parrish, one of the worst signings in Phillies team history, signed on this day, came in with a lot of expectations, and quite frankly, failed to meet them. Be sure to let me know your ideas for breaking the curse that the Sixers are under, because something needs to happen. The fact that we got Maxey hurting thumbs and Kelly Oubre hurting his elbow, it seems like every time they take 2 steps forward, they take 10 steps back. How do we break the curse that the Sixers are in? We'll have more on the Phillies, Eagles signings, those Sixers, and the Flyers on Monday as we rewind the weekend. Good luck to the St. Joe's men, the Penn men, and the Drexel women as they look to advance in their conference tournaments and punch their tickets to the big dance. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for March 13th, 2026. My name's Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a feel-good Friday. Don't walk under any ladders today. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.